Welcome in. Thank you for joining me tonight. So, my beautiful people, just like earlier, if y'all were watching me, um, I'm doing a reading for a client, and there won't be any chat here. So, if y'all think the stream's messing up, it's not. I turned the chat off because I won't be focusing so much on this screen. I have a device right below the screen that I'm streaming from on YouTube, where I'll be doing a reading for a client. And so I'm focused in only on their energy. So this is just to kind of show y'all what I do when it's just a one-on-one private reading, or even something like what you could expect to see if you were to join one of my streams on either Wednesday night or Saturday afternoon, where I'll be doing paid readings in those streams. And the only people who will be in those actual streams are the people who paid for a reading. And so they'll be in there live with me. And the chat will be open with them because, you know, I have to chat with them in order to see what questions they have and get responses and such. So just know I'm not ignoring y'all. It's not intentional. It is, but it isn't. So don't take it personally. I'm focused on the screen below and doing their reading. So you might see some of the cards, you may not. I don't know. But this is what I'm going to be doing. And I thought that since people want to know what I do, this is one way for y'all to see how my readings go. And that way I can just do the reading and say hi to y'all for a minute and then go. Hi, beautiful spirit. I just saw a bright spirit orb just zoom right on by me. So spirits here let me know they're ready to work. And I'm just waiting for one of my clients to show up, and then I can start the reading with them. 10 o'clock, 10:03. So, okay. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Hi, honey. How you doing? Oh, it's good to see you. Oh, no. What are you stressed out about, honey? Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can get some clarity on that. See what Spirit has to say. Yeah, well, I had like one other spot open, so it's a good thing you reached out to me when you did. Otherwise, I would be probably like deep into doing my recordings for my Patreon members. So, which I still got to work on and do for them. Not a problem, honey. I appreciate you too. So, the Patreon membership, you would have to download the app, and Some people say they have problems trying to access it, trying to like pull my name up, just typing it in. So you would probably have to like hit the link that's in the description box, and it'll should take you right to it. I guess it just depends on what your settings are at. So, but you should be able to pull it up because I've been doing my daily collective readings there. So if you notice that my in-depth daily collective readings that I've been doing, have been doing, this whole past year, I decided to make that one of the perks for my members only, the ones who pay for the membership. And then there's also a place on there for um, if you wanted to get, if you were, to get more than one reading, and that's on a live stream, it would be half off. And then y'all would have access to the Zodiac love readings that's in there too. And then there's a couple other spots. I haven't looked at it in a while. I'd have to pull it up to where you'd be able to see it. So it'd be your choice which one you join. I'm working on a couple other things too. Um, so oh no, y'all gonna have to wait to find out about that. But I've been working on a couple of things in the background. So in between doing the recordings, because a lot of the recordings I've been doing, it's only for the Patreon members. It's part of the exclusive membership perk. There's only a few that I've released to the regular, public, but most of it's just in the Patreon membership. So unless you have a membership, you won't be able to view it. But beside that, it's just the quick daily shorts that I do, and that's it. So, and then because I, been taking a step back because Spirit told me, in fact, I got another confirmation today that I need to follow what, I feel I'm supposed to do. And they told me to stop overthinking it and trust it and go with it. So that's what I'm doing. So, I plan on having like a Patreon members only stream sometime here soon. Aside from that, it'll probably just be like this here and there. And then like the reading list for Wednesday and Saturday, even those will only be for the people who pay for a reading. That will be in there and be able to like hear everything live. And then after the stream's over, I can post it later for everyone else to watch later, but it won't be watched live. And it won't even be like how, I'm streaming it on another device right now, just for people to listen in. So it won't even be like that. But yeah, so it's up to you, whichever way you want to go, honey. No, I'm starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday, which will be 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm probably only going to be taking people and adding them to that list because, like I said, the only way you get into it is if you have the link to it. And I won't have the link until an hour or two before it's supposed to start. So, which means everybody would have to send their payment to me beforehand in order to get in there and to get a reading for me that way. So yeah, if your sister or anybody else wants to get a reading and they, don't want to do it this way, like how you paid more, to have me this way, one-on-one, they can go that route. So it's not, it's $40 US to get that reading for me like that instead of what you paid to have me like this. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, good. All right, honey. So let's get into this. You've been stressed. All right. Okay, with both. Okay, so you're having problems with both, like your boyfriend, and you said what, your dad? Okay, let me see. Which deck? I got a couple of them that are specifically for relationship problems. In fact, one of them I just got last week. So, and then I got this one that's buried. Yep. Thankfully, I had all these other ones out because I've been doing my love readings. So, whoa. Alright, put this over there. And this. No, and it makes it more peaceful this way too. So that way anybody who wants my advice or anything, the only way they're going to get it is if they pay for a reading. So, alright. So you want to know what's going on in your relationship with your boyfriend, and then the second question's with your dad. Alright. Why is he is he acting different towards you? That don't sound good. Well, how long's it been going on that way? I mean, has he been stressed out about work? Could that be a contributing factor, or are you just saying he's just distant and you feel like he's pulling away? No, but it makes me think of another deck I have. Let's see. No, that's not it. Okay, well, let's find out. Because I have this other deck too. Let's see. Yeah. Say what? Oh, yeah, because I ended up getting something on it, so I had to change real quick. That's why. So no, you're not going crazy. I did have something else on earlier, but I got something on it, so I had to change in a hurry. Find something last minute to throw on. So Spirit, show me what's going on here in this relationship. That Becky is having boyfriend. Show me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, my girlfriend made it for me. She made me a few of them. They actually arrived yesterday. So, I got those floral ones, but I got other ones. Now this one. But there's a few others that she made for me. And then she said that she's still working on another one. It's like, oh, geez. So, thank you. Alright, Spirit, show me. This relationship with Rebecca and her boyfriend. What's the problems? Anything shady going on? Show me. Alright, Spirit, show me. Well, I'm not going to say that it's going on. I'm not going to say anything's happened yet. I need to get clarity. Do I think something possibly shady's going on? I think it's getting close, we'll just say. Yeah. Alright. No, beautiful, I don't think it has yet. But that's not to say that it won't change tomorrow or the next day. Spirit, show me. Or is there anything else? Okay. Clarify, Spirit. Well, I mean, it's like you said, he's not making any effort towards you. What else, Spirit? I feel like he's putting his needs ahead of yours. Might be even criticizing you a little too much. I feel like he's trying to get you to do something, but I don't see you bending to his will. But I feel like that's what he's hoping for. Well, I mean, that might be part of the issue, but yeah, I don't think his intentions, even if he were to not, pursue anything further, I don't get those intentions are good. So there's that right there. And then there's this. When we're talking about being shady. And I feel like nothing's crossed the line just yet. But I do feel like there has been someone else. There's been communication going on. So that might be why you feel like he's been pulling away. But now I want to see really what the issue is. Spirit. What's the problem in the relationship? I mean, there might even be like, ugh, I hate that type of energy. He could even be acting this way, trying to stir up your emotions to make you act more, how do I put this, clingy, needing him more to where he feels like if he were to walk away, that, you would miss him. So, and because of that, because he's trying to activate more or less your jealousy streak, we'll say, you're going to end up trying to do other things so he doesn't walk away from you. Like another form of manipulation would be the way I would see it. And that's how I feel. Yeah. Some of them are. What else, Spirit? I mean, Spirit saying, try not to react. Don't allow him to see you react or get upset, because then you would just be feeding into that monster, we'll say, and that can be problematic because Spirit's wanting you stop allowing him to like push your buttons like that. Stop, having like that knee-jerk reaction or feeling like you have to give in order to feel validated or feel like he still loves you and cares about you and he's not going anywhere. I mean, I tell y'all this all the time, but I know not everybody thinks like me. But, and I said this to somebody last night, and I actually said it to somebody earlier today too. I mean, if someone can't appreciate your presence, make them appreciate your absence. So if by him reacting this way, trying to get you to act jealous, to maybe, act more clingy and be more attentive to him, if he can't appreciate what you've already been bringing to the table, it's like, and that's saying that you've been consistent from start to all the way to current. Like you haven't changed, in any way. You're still giving him the same kind of attention, affection, the spice behind the bedroom kind of thing. Then why is he acting this way? Is it just out of selfishness? Is it out of immaturity? Is it out of just his own ego? Or is there something else he is trying or expecting you to do, but he feels like you're not going to do it unless he gets you to act in a certain, unbecoming way, we'll say. So You know, it's like I tell people, people who go around and try to make other people jealous, you know, especially in a romantic relationship, but we'll talk in general. Um, it's like if you can't appreciate me, and you feel like you have to get me to react a certain way to get me to be jealous, then you know we don't even need to have a conversation. You know, we shouldn't even have any kind of relationship, whether that's family, friends, or romantic, because there's nothing you should be doing to try and get me to react jealous just for you to feel loved and needed and valued by me. Just by me being here, being in the present with you, spending time with you, and so on should be enough. And if that's not enough, and if you feel like I'm slacking, okay, call me out on it. That's why you have that conversation with me. But you don't do it before then and do it this way. Because that's just disrespectful and that's just being childish and immature. And I don't have time for that nonsense. Because anyone who tries to get me to react in a jealous way, they're going to be highly disappointed because it'll never happen. You know, because I was raised differently. I have a different mentality that way. And most don't understand it, but, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm one of those people not everybody's, you know, going to understand. So, and I don't allow it to bother me, but when it comes to your relationship, you know, like, does he get jealous when other people pay you attention? You know, does he overreact if like one of your guy friends at work, you know, starts, you know, talking with you, if you all, you know, are joking around and he hears about it, or um does he act, you know, in any other kind of way, like when you get around your brother and his friends are over? Does he become possessive or jealous when other people are giving you attention? See? Yeah, to me, that's just his ego then. No. And don't be a doormat for it, is what Spirit just said. What else, Spirit? And this is the other thing you got to learn how to do. Because this is something that I've had to learn how to do recently. Is really set those boundaries. And, you know, to let people know, no, you know, you're not going to, you know, take me for granted. You're not going to underappreciate me. You're not going to mistreat me in any kind of way. Because if you do, I'm going to be gone like a ghost. And that's all there is to it. I'm not giving any more than what I can give because I've given way too much. And I've heard a lot of people say that to me in recent months. I've overgiven of myself, and it's time for me to pull it back and give to myself, but also give to like my family that haven't seen me all year. You know, and that's nobody's fault but my own, but I'm just saying, instead of putting my time and energy into something else where it's not being appreciated or valued, well, then it's time for me to pull that energy back and give it where it is appreciated and valued. So that sounds like what you may have to do. Because if he's not going to value the time you're giving to him, then pull your energy back. And if he acts out, if he acts jealous, insecure, or, you know, freaks out, or wants to even, you know, turn the tables on you and say, oh, well, are you talking to somebody now? Oh, are you cheating on me? No. But obviously you weren't giving me enough credit for being here. No, you keep wanting to make me jealous, and you know, you obviously don't appreciate the time I've given, so I'm gonna give it to myself and to my family and my friends and let it be and not worry about it anymore. Stop thinking about it in the long term. And someone told me that earlier tonight. They told me you gotta stop thinking about things long term. You gotta be here in the present, be here in the now. You know, what happens tomorrow, next week, whatever will happen. But be in the present. So that's what I gotta really make myself do. Like me being in the present here with you right now. And it's just, you know, us here talking and me doing this reading for you. You know, I'm not paying any attention to anyone else. You know, it's just me talking to you and only you about, you know, your relationship. So I gotta put everyone else out and ignore whatever else could be going on. So that's where my focus is going now. And, you know, it's only right, you know, that you get my undivided attention because you paid for it. So, like your relationship with your boyfriend, you know, time is a commodity that you cannot get back. Once it's spent, it's gone, right? And people seem to undervalue and underappreciate it. And it sounds like that's what he's doing now. But if he needs to go out there and stroke his own ego and see if he's going to get attention elsewhere, that's just leading to this right here. Okay? And I will not hold you. I will not be upset with you if you suddenly just said to me, well, Amanda, I can't take that chance that, you know, he could possibly, you know, betray me that way. I get it, honey. I would not play that game with him. He can go take a hike. But that's me. So I want to see what this says. Spirit, show me. Let me pull these few cards out first. And then I'll grab the tarot. Spirit, show me what are the other issues, problems going on. Oh, Spirit, tell me to pull out that other deck. Where do I have it? Oh. It's right here. There must be a card in here for you. So. I'm going to grab that one too. Alright, Spirit, show me. Well, he said he doesn't know how to relax. Like he's so uptight. So, Spirit's confirming that. What else, Spirit? What else? Well, bad habits. And lacks self-control. So there's that. And like you said, you don't feel supported. There it is right there. Now the question is why? Is it just because of his ego? Or is it because there possibly could be someone else catching his eye? Or could it just be merely innocent? What I pulled so far doesn't tell me it's innocent, but let's see. Spirit, show me. You know, I've been dating on and off for 2 years. Honey, why you been dating him on and off for 2 years? Well, no. No, I just don't understand why people do that, but Sounds like he has some growing up to do. It almost sounds like he doesn't know what he wants yet. He doesn't know which way's up. Spirit, show me. Why is this here? Well, you know how I pulled that other card? Where'd it go? Where did it go? I had to move it to the side because I only got so much room. See? Here's this card I pulled. And here's this card. What does it say? One's confirming the other. So, if, you know, your intuition is telling you this, I feel like Spirit's saying yes. You gotta believe it. Don't ignore the red flags. Alright. What else, Spirit? Well, that's like a compliment. You intimidate him. You intimidate him. So it's like anything you got going on, anything you're doing, you know, where you're growing, you're evolving, you know, in your career, even in your personal life with hobbies, interests, spending time with friends and family, or, you know, just stepping up to the plate and showing like, you know, you can handle and take care of yourself. He's intimidated by that. I feel like that scares him to the point to where, how do I put that? Not that he's being unsupported. It feels more like, how do I put this? Like he has nothing to offer you. So if you keep showing up like, well, you know, I have this great career, you know, I'm holding my own, and, you know, kind of like how my attitude has been, you know, I say, I don't love you because I need you. I need you because I love you. And there's a huge difference, so don't get it twisted. This is how he feels. You know, what should be a compliment to him or to anyone else, or I would think would be, it's the exact opposite. Because he's still wrapped up in that devil energy of his ego. So you keep bruising his ego. And whenever you bruise his ego, he pulls back. Because, you know, to him, you're making him feel less than. Which I know that's not what you're doing, but that's how he feels. And that's how he sees it. But he's not saying those things to you. Which there is the whole gap of communication there too. All right, Spirit. Oh, I love this card. This is speaking my attitude right now, how I feel. And that goes with this right here. Like, that's how he feels. It's that attitude of, you know, yeah, I appreciate you, but do I really need you? Not really. But do I want you? Yes, I want you because I love you, I appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing. And also because it bothers him. I feel like he feels defeated sometimes with you. Like he doesn't know what else he can offer you. And you know, beautiful, um, it's so crazy today, the way the dating world is, because when I was growing up, it's not that it was traditional, it was and it wasn't. Traditional in a context of, yeah, daddy, you know, worked, provided, and, you know, mama took care of us. But my mama worked too. But, you know, daddy was the breadwinner. But, you know, daddy just didn't go make the bread though. He brought it home and cooked it too. And I mean that literally. He did all the cooking. So he brought a lot to the table for my mama. And my mama allowed him to be the kind of man that he is, to where he felt proud. He felt like he was being productive. He was being the strong, good, solid, stable foundation for both my mother as a husband, but to also be that father to us kids. And he was very much both. So my mom allowed him to take the lead, is what I'm saying. And the problem is in today is some women won't allow men to take the lead, but then you have those who want to take the lead, but then they have nothing to lead with. You know, they don't have the resources, or they don't make the kind of money that like my parents or grandparents made. So to be able to have and hold down that role. So you kind of get stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I feel like for your man, he's kind of between both. Like he wants to bring something to the table, but he still feels like whatever he brings, it's never going to be good enough. And he just doesn't know what else he can offer you. So I feel like he might be, not that he's out there messing around, okay? But I feel like he's getting his ego stroked by other women who are just, you know, giving him attention, um, making him feel good about himself in the ways that he feels like he's not appreciated by you. And that's not saying that you're not appreciating him. I'm just saying what I'm picking up out of your energy of what I feel like he feels. It's just he's struggling to say it to you. You know, not to want to start a fight, not to want to hurt you, not to make things worse. He's just kind of keeping his mouth shut and just going about it. And even if you want to call it in a shady, sneaky way, yeah. But I don't feel like he's done anything yet. Not saying it couldn't if you push the right buttons, but beautiful, you gotta decide if you want to work on this relationship. Because what I would tell you is on and off for 2 years, after, you know, a year, even I'll say even 6 months. And guys will, most guys won't say this, but I know this. I've heard it from enough of them. Um, they usually know within less than 6 months if you're the one for them or not. Meaning they've already got it in their mind, like they can envision seeing their life with you, like making you their wife, their life partner. They know within the first few months, really. But I'll give them 6 months, but really it's 3 or 4 months. They know. But let me tell you something, after being with someone a year, oh, you absolutely do know. And if you don't, then that's not your person. Because my person's not going to be confused about me. They're going to know right away if I'm their person or not. Okay, so if someone tried telling me after, you know, 6 months, but really it's 3 months for me, that they're confused, they don't know what they want, they don't know if they can see a life with me. And I'm not saying you gotta, you know, put a ring on it and say we're gonna get married next year. That's not what I mean. What I mean is they at least know they can see the future with you right now, and they could see it growing. Like they see the potential of y'all being husband and wife one day. Not saying we got to get engaged tomorrow. That's not what I mean. But they see that it's going down that road. They will know one way or the other. And if they're still confused about it, they're not your person, beautiful. And you know, I'm not saying that to hurt you. I'm keeping it real with you. And you know, that's what I try to do. I try and give y'all both the optimistic side of things, but also be real with y'all too, to where y'all get both from me. It's not about what I would do, beautiful. It's what you feel is right for you. I know what I would do, but you see what I would do, others would disagree with me, and that's fine. Not everybody's me. Let me get some advice, Spirit. Show me. Advice, Spirit. All right. Spirit advice. Confirm, Spirit. You know, I just said I'm gonna keep it real with you. Spirit saying it's your choice, but you're gonna have to choose it now, cause what I would say is if you continue, you'll probably end up in heartbreak. All right. I have this, but it's reversed, and this, but it's reversed as well. So this is telling me like things are not happy. And it even tells me like Spirit's making me feel that when y'all aren't together, like let's just say boys' night out, that your man's probably out there, you know, drinking, possibly doing other things, you know, I don't know. But I feel like he's at least out there drinking. And I feel like he's getting attention, obviously, from others. So you mix those two together, it's going to eventually end up here. And I don't know how else to put that and give it to you, beautiful. But I think if you stay, you'll probably end up getting your heart broken. But I can't tell you what to do. I can only give you the messages. And it's up to you to take the messages that I give to you and decide for yourself. Because though you know, what I would do is different, but what I think I would do is also what most people would do. But some would say, well, Amanda, I disagree. You know, I love him and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I understand that. I'm not saying you don't love him, but at the same time, if someone really loves you, they'll never do something like that to hurt you. All right? But let me make myself perfectly clear with you too, beautiful. There's a difference between loving someone and being in love with someone. All right? It is night and day. They're two completely different things. When someone's in love with you, they can't see anybody but you. Like every waking thought is of you. You know, everything they think about, you know, when it comes to their future, even their, you know, day to day mundane task, it involves you in it. Someone who just loves you, it's more like, you know, they care about you, you know, no, they don't want nothing bad to happen to you, but Is there every waking thought about you, or how can I make, my partner's life better? How can I make them happy? How can I make them smile? Blah, blah, blah. Not necessarily. So you see, it's different. And you always know when someone's in love because it's the way they look at you. And there's no mistake in it. I've seen it enough times personally, um, with, guys that I've dated who, when they said they were in love with me, I knew they were telling me the truth, because I could see it in the eyes when they looked at me, but I could also feel it. I could feel it in their soul, but I could also, you know, add everything that I see visually and how they treated me and tie everything they've told me to their actions too. And they both lined up to me. So when someone tries to say, oh, I love you, I'm in love with you, blah, 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 but their actions say something else, you really think I believe, they're in love with me? Heck no. And they're full of it. And I would tell them that too. So what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying he doesn't love you, but I do not believe he's in love with you. And there's a difference. And that's opening the door to what you don't want. And I feel like if you stay, the choice is yours. But if you stay, man, I don't even want to say that, Spirit. I can't say that. Um, be prepared. It's going to be very painful. I know, honey. Because the other thing I know, he's making you question this right here. And that's not what he should be doing. The only person who should be questioning this is you. Not by other people's actions, but by how you feel about yourself. Not by how, attentive they are. I mean, sure, does that make you feel good? Of course, but how do you feel when you're by yourself, when you're alone? Do you really feel good and proud of who you are? Or do you need someone else's validation in order for you to feel good? To feel like you matter? Is the question. Because I feel like he keeps trying to rip it apart so you don't walk away. So that if he were to do this, you more than likely won't just walk out on him. I feel like, he wants you to at least hesitate to where he would still have a foot inward to get you to not leave him or break up with him. That's what I pick up. To where Spirit's trying to teach you to be this way. And this is where you need to be. You have a lot of value. You got to stop allowing others to put value on you and you put your value on yourself. And other people are going to accept it and they're going to treat you right. Or the ones who don't, leave them in the dust. Leave them behind you. And you can outgrow people. That happens. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing is that when you do outgrow someone, you got to learn how to cut the ties. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean that you don't care what happens to them or you don't want the best for them. It just means they're not meant to go along on this road with you anymore. And that's okay. But I would rather for you to stop allowing this to happen. Because I feel like if you don't, if you don't recognize this, there will be this, and then there will be this. And then you're going to be in pieces. And then who's going to be there to help you pick up those pieces again? Help you find yourself again. That's what you got to do for you. Not allow others to do it. Learn how to fight for yourself and know what it is you want. and not accept anything less from anyone else who chooses to treat you differently or treat you like an option or like a last thought. People who treat me like a thought, a last thought or option, I just treat them the same way. So, you don't value me? Well, guess what? I'm not going to give you more room to devalue me or to unappreciate me. So, that's what you got to learn to do for you, beautiful. Alright. Now, do you want me to get into about your dad? Let's see. No, because I'm going to pull some cards at the end for you. I'm going to give you some homework. But let's see. Don't fall. Time is it? Crap. Hold on, beautiful. Let me run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. All right. Becky, let's see. Okay. So what did he just get pissy with you? Walk away? And he's not speaking to you now and you don't know why? Oh, beautiful. You may have to. Sometimes gotta swallow your pride too. You ever heard that saying, pride can kill a man? It's very true. Stuck in that little hole. Let me use this deck, Spirit. Let's see. Spirit, show me what went wrong with her dad. No. I stay on my side of the house. I ignore him. And I sleep alone. And I sleep peacefully. And it's been that way since 2018. Alright, Spirit, show me what went wrong. What happened to Becky's dad? Your dad dating someone? I guess I should ask first. Is your dad single? Like, he's not with your mom still, right? Well, because I feel like it's this. And this. And this. He might just be having a bad time right now, too. But I feel like it's involving this. These two factors right here. So might mean he just needs some time, space. Might even be feeling overwhelmed just with life. We all are, you know, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. It just seems like he's having that. Let me see, Spirit. Clarify this. Actually, where's the other deck? This. It's too funny. The way I got my deck stacked over here makes me think of that game where you gotta stack the blocks and then you start pulling blocks from like the middle or the bottom and hoping that, you know, the top level doesn't ever collapse. That's the way some of my decks are stacked. It's kind of funny. Spirit, clarify this for me, please. Yeah, I think he's just needing some space right now, sweetheart. I don't feel like it's anything you've done. I just feel like maybe he's just maybe a little overwhelmed. Could be his work. You know, I feel like it could even just be he doesn't have anyone to talk to, and you're his child. I don't feel like he wants to put any of that burden on you. You're his baby girl. He's trying to protect you, and he's trying to be the man by carrying on the, you know, weight of the world on his shoulders, and he's trying to find balance between it all too, while still trying to be that loving father that he is to you and to your siblings. I mean, does he talk to your brother? Well, I mean, if he's not going to even talk to your brother, and your brother's a guy, then, I mean, he surely ain't going to talk to you either, beautiful. He's just going to carry on the weight and the problems on his own. If anything, he might be talking to guys at work. I feel like he's trying to stay focused on his job, making sure he's doing good, making sure he's making progress, and getting his work done. But I feel like there's a lot of chaotic energy going on in his energy. And he's trying to embrace the change. What do you mean? Moving where? I mean, there could be that going on too. But I don't feel like that's what it is. I don't even feel like that's on his radar. No, I feel like he's trying to be your dad. And being strong. Being like the anchor of the family. And taking on all the problems by himself. Without burdening you, without burdening your brother, without burdening anyone else. I feel like the only people he would talk to is if he had any siblings that he was close with, a best friend, or your grandparents if they were still alive. I feel like those are the only people he will open up to about anything. going on right now with him. But I feel like he's doing what most parents would do, trying to protect their kids. Even though you're an adult, even though your siblings are adults too, he still doesn't want to worry y'all. He's trying to do everything he can to protect y'all and to make it seem like he has everything under control. You know, he still has to put on that strong face for the family and be resilient no matter what the world throws his way. But I feel like he's doing some juggling. So, Spirit just said, why not try offering your help to him? And then don't, like, what I mean by that is, don't go through and, you know, say to him, like, Dad, you know, I know, you know, we'll just say, like, I see the garage needs to be repainted. How about, you know, I hire someone to come paint the garage or paint the house or fix something around the house. You know, I'm not saying to go through and do that, but maybe go over there and, you know, if you see something like that, you and your brother, be like, Dad, you know, we know you know, you're trying to take care of the house and do this, but we see, you know, this is going undone and it needs to be fixed, or, you know, take some of that weight off of him. I feel like what your dad needs to know is that he's being appreciated by y'all. You know, because, I mean, like it or not, you know, we're all getting old, right? And your dad's no exception. And I almost get the feeling like he feels like he's losing his value, like his purpose. Um, I get the feeling like he's starting to feel like he's being retired. Like, you know, I feel like he's getting like younger guys at work who are able to do a lot more than maybe he can now because he's older, right? So maybe he's not as fast as he was when he was younger. And so now he's seeing all these younger guys come in and be able to do, you know, not just his job, but maybe do twice as much. And so I'm feeling like that's making him feel like he's losing his own value and his purpose and, you know, at his job. Um, so maybe it's not necessarily just come over there and, you know, like I said, paint the house, but maybe, you know, say, Dad, you know, we know that the house needs to be painted. Um, we know you don't want us to go out there and hire someone to paint the house, but how about we come over and help you? And how about we do it, you know, on one of your days off? To where you're doing both. You know, you're giving him purpose and reminding him that he can still do it, but he doesn't have to carry the whole load by himself either. That you and your brother are there to also help him at the same time. So you be giving him both. And that's what I feel like he needs from you, your brother, and anyone else in the family. That he's not being retired out, we'll say. So I feel like he's trying to, you know, juggle those emotions. No, I don't think it's mad at you, honey. I think you're overthinking it, beautiful. I think you're overthinking it because of the situation with your boyfriend. That's what I feel. The spirit just confirmed it. You're overthinking it because, you know, things are going hairy over here. You're like taking a look at the rest of your relationships and how do they compare. Because you're trying to see, like, you know, which is admirable of you to, you know, say, okay, let me take accountability. You know, what am I doing wrong here? What could I be doing better? And that's something we should all do. But I feel like you're taking too much of the burden, even in your relationship with your boyfriend, and allowing it to kind of like bleed over into your relationship with your dad or with anyone else. I mean, like, if you were to even have a talk with your brother, would your brother say that? I'm sure your brother would tell you, no, you know, you're doing everything fine. There's no need to worry. No, we're good. Our relationship's good. So I think you're overthinking it, beautiful. I think you need to focus on you. on building yourself back up, finding your purpose and self-worth again. It's time to get around the people who remind you why you're you, what makes you special, you know, what makes you feel like you're a part of society. You know, how do you feel purposeful? How do you feel productive? You know, how do you go about showing the people you care about? How do you show them that you genuinely do care? That it's not just words. You know, what's like your love language, we'll say. And start doing that. If you feel like you've been slacking, well, maybe it's time to pick it back up and start investing more into doing those things. So you don't feel like um, your relationships are going down the tubes. I don't feel like that's what's happening. I feel like you're being too hard on yourself. That's what I think you're doing. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's going to get better. I just think you need to get out of your own way. Spirit, show me. Well, you know, this is a good reminder too right here. And this one just flew out. And you know how I said it's okay to not be okay sometimes? It's okay to not have everything right or in order or be perfect. Spirit, what else? And that's true right there too. There's nothing you can't do. And there's nothing you can't accomplish if you put your mind to it. We all can, you know, go through and take inventory of what we've done, what we haven't done, what we need to improve. And then there's this. And this is true when it comes to your man. You definitely need to remember this. Above all else, remember this. Spirit told me to pull this one out too. And beautiful. Spirit want me to remind you of this. You know, the things that are meant for you, including people, will never pass you by, no matter what. The people that are meant to be in your life are going to be there. They're going to show up. And when you need them, oh, they will definitely show up. And when they don't, then they weren't meant for you to begin with. And that is not just romantic. That's friends and family too. And the same thing goes with things. Things you're meant to have, you'll have. The things you're not meant to have, you know, and you feel like you've lost your chance or opportunity of having them, it was never yours to begin with. Life is a circus after all. I'm sorry, this card made me laugh because it made me think of something I saw earlier. Well, of course. And it's all about this right here too. And know that some things that, even though time matters, there's just some things that aren't meant for you. And, you know, it's like, you know, you may think that you want something, you think, you know what's best for you, what's going to work. But sometimes what we think is best for us isn't what's best for us. But we can't ever see it because we're too busy focused on trying to make it happen instead of not accepting defeat, but coming to the realization that, okay, it's not happening the way I want it or in the time frame that I set. Maybe it's not meant to happen right now. So maybe put it to a side and maybe go back to it later. But if you feel called to try and work on it again, then go to it then. But, you know, after a few times, if you can't get it to come to where you want it to be, then you weren't meant to have it. And I feel like that's true for relationships too. Sometimes it's the universe protecting us. You know, what we think is good for us is not. And by it not happening for us is the divine's protection for us. Because we can't see what's coming down the road if we were to have everything we want. Thinking, you know, when we're talking ideally and we know nothing's going to be ideal. So, dang, it got hot in here. Spirit, what else? And Spirit's just confirming what I just said right there. Allow it to flow. Move with it. And what isn't moving? It's not yours, beautiful. But know you're getting support from your angels. And it's crazy that this card came out because I had a meeting earlier tonight and I was telling the people that I had, you know, an experience over the weekend where I had asked, you know, my angels and my spirit guides, like, is this what I'm supposed to do? You know, this is something I've been thinking about. This is what I've been contemplating. Is it the right time to do this or should I wait? You know, because I really feel like the time is now. And, you know, something like I said, I've been thinking about contemplating for the last few months. And I sat there and I watched um, a, a, a tarot reader, you know, who I have a lot of respect for. And they read specifically on Pisces only. And they did a reading about angels and angels being supportive and your angels have your back and blah, blah. And talking about how If you come across, if you start getting signs from your angels, like feathers, for an example, then you know this is your reading, this is your message, and this is for you. And, so after I was done watching it, I sat there and I just thought to myself, I said, well, angels, that'd be nice if you could send me a freaking feather to let me know with absolute certainty that it's not just in my head, that this is really what I'm being called to do and go down this direction, right? And I kid you not, not even 20 minutes later, I walk outside to pet my cat Wolfie, and I'm sitting out there on my back patio, and what do you know? I get a tiny white feather come flying across and right in front of me, and I knew it. And it's like, and I couldn't believe it, and I picked it up, and yeah, it was a feather. I got it right here. In fact, this was Spirit let me know that yes, that message was for me. Okay, but it didn't just stop there. And then the next day, maybe it was a day or two later, I go outside again, and I'm sitting out there petting my cat, and another white feather comes right across in front of me. Only this time it was a little bit further away. And, and I saw it. I knew exactly what it was when I saw it. So I sat up, stood up and went, running after it. But of course, the wind was blowing. So I couldn't, grab it in time. It flew away. But I knew exactly what it was, right? And so that was Spirit giving me, confirmation like, yes, Amanda, you're not crazy, right? Well, then today, when I was sharing that story, um, after the meeting was done, one of the people that was in that group sent an email saying that their, I don't know who they said it was, but someone had walked outside and they ended up finding a feather and it was white. And it's like, I'm just blown, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, Spirit, I hear you loud and clear, even though they found the feather, but the timing of it all, knowing I just told that story and this person came in after I had already told the story, of what happened over the weekend. So that was Spirit coming in and making themselves very clear. So know that those signs, those little signs that you think, oh, that's just coincidence. No, it's not coincidence. It's happening for a reason. Same thing like that happens when things don't go the exact way. It's not coincidence. It's not happening. It's not meant to happen. It doesn't mean you're defeated. It just may not be for right now. It might be wrong timing. And that's okay. I had that one deck I wanted to pull from. Might be one of these. Yep, there it is. Spirit. Spirit. Oh my goodness. I can't make this up. What does that say right there? Mm-hmm. And there's that one. I'm dead serious. Beautiful. It's like me. You come to realize you can't save everybody. And sometimes some people don't want to be saved. As hard as that is, you know, some people don't want to be saved. Others, they think, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Or, they want to say that's hogwash or whatever. Let them believe whatever they want. But it's not up to you to prove to them this, right? Because again, you can't prove someone what they refuse to see for themselves. If they want to be that foolish, if they want to be blind, allow them. Hey, they want to walk off the what is it from the movie, the was it Pirates of the Caribbean? Walk the plank. Let them walk the plank. It's their life. They got to decide because, you know, when they go, tumbling down, they're going to have to pick themselves back up. I'm not saying don't be there to kind of help them, but don't do it all for them either because they weren't willing to appreciate your time and the effort you gave while you were there for them. So again, it comes down to you appreciating yourself instead more and saving yourself and giving it to those who truly see value in what you have to offer and what you bring. And the ones who don't, you know, that's on them. It's their choice. I'm not trying to prove anybody differently. I'm just not going to be the one to try and, convince anyone of, whether I have value, whether, my gifts are real. You know, you either believe or you don't. And if you don't, it's no sweat off my back. I'm not losing sleep over it. And for those who don't want to pay for my time, my efforts, my energy, it's like, one of my other favorite tarot readers that I highly admire and respect, who's done personal readings for me in the past. And, they said not that long ago that they can't understand, you get all these people out here who complain about things going wrong in their life, and they'll go out here and they'll spend money on, on nonsense, on, like designer handbags or, designer shoes or, expensive cars or even an expensive, cup of coffee. But they won't spend money on doing something like getting a reading that can help change their life and fix some of the things that they need to fix that they're unwilling to work on or unwilling to come face to face with. So, what does that say about them? They'll spend all this money drinking that expensive, Starbucks coffee or whatever, but when it comes to investing in, their life and making it better, nope, nobody's worth that amount, I guess. Again, that's trying to get someone to see your value when they won't or they refuse to. So that's when you make them appreciate your absence and become a ghost. Because understand me, beautiful, things will be changing here in the next few months for me. And I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. Um, the people who are meant to come with me will. The ones who don't, I love them, wish them well, but that's what you got to remember for you. Not just for you, but even for your dad, for your boyfriend, Even when it comes to your relationship with your brother, your best friend, the people you work with, all of them. It still comes back down to you. You're in control of your happiness. You're in control of your destiny. Nobody's in control of it except for you, and only you. Pull one more card, and then I'm going to get an angel message for you. Close out this reading. Sometimes you have to let it go. Right here. Let it go. Release it. Oh, and definitely remember this right here. Okay? Don't try and fit in. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to be different. Of course, it's probably buried under one of my other boxes. Oh, Spirit told me to pull a message from this. Here. Oh, move this, move this. Oh, I appreciate you too, beautiful. Let's see. I told you I've been working. That's all I've been doing. I'm gonna have me some fun here soon, though. Promise you that. That's Spirit. Show me. Thank you. There you go, right here, beautiful. What does that say? That's what you need to focus on. Oh, and here's this one too. This is a lot of what I was just saying to you, okay? Don't allow anyone to abuse your power or take it away from you. Remember, you will be treated how you allow others to treat you. Right there. Spirit's just confirming what I just said. So, remember that. Okay. Alright, Spirit. Can I get an angel message, please? See, I can't wear makeup because I just wipe it off my face. Spirit. You have a divine calling. Spirit's calling you. It's up to you to answer now. Answer your calling, beautiful. What does it say to you? Well, what did your intuition keep telling you? What's that resounding message you keep getting? Because Spirit just showed me like a TV screen that's all like staticky. Like they're trying to send you those messages, but you keep overlooking them or you keep ignoring them. Yeah. What else? Sometimes that's you not being grounded enough to receive the messages. Sometimes they do it in your sleep too. But sometimes the messages can be so clear that it's like an everyday thing. It's like nothing special, or it doesn't seem that way to you in the moment when it happens, because it's like anything else that would happen throughout your day until you stop and think about it. It's like, wait a minute. You know, was that my spirit guides? Was that my angels? Was that my passed over loved ones trying to get my attention and give me this message? Or give me this sign trying to point me here? That's why it's always good to pay attention. And I know, you know, it's easier said than done, especially when we're focused on our job and, you know, on our family, especially if we have kids, you know, chasing after little ones. I get it, but there's also those moments when you're by yourself. Do you give yourself that time to calm your mind, to decompress, to shut everyone out? And that means even turning off the electronics and allow your spirit guides to come through. Because that's when they're going to speak the loudest. You know, they speak to us throughout the day. The only problem is that we don't pay attention to the messages because we're so distracted. As we should be, living our life, right? But it's the times at night or morning, day, whatever it is, when you're alone and there's nobody there to kind of distract you, except for maybe your own mind and maybe, you know, technology. But it's up to you to put the phone down or put the computer down or whatever and allow your mind to decompress. And once it's done, once you clear out all the clutter, then spirit comes through loud and clear. And that's what they keep saying. They keep trying to get to you, but you keep shutting them back out. You may not be ready to receive them. I get that. I guess sometimes it can even be hard to hear those messages because we're afraid of what they have to say. Or are they disappointed? Are they upset with us? Did we do something wrong? And you gotta stop thinking like that. It's just like next month will be a very hard month for me. Okay, actually the next 2 months I should say, because November both my mother and my real father passed away, and then my aunt died 14 days before Christmas. Same year my mother passed away. They just died weeks apart. You know, so the holidays can be hard for me in that way. But I deal with them, and I know that I used to go through when I was younger, when I was still grieving, deep in my grief. And I'm talking like even, several years, we'll say like 6, 7 years, my mama had been gone. But I was still hurting deeply from her loss. Her dying was life altering. It's forever life changing. It would not have mattered if it happened to me at the time it did or if it happened years later when I was older. It was still going to hurt like hell. It just happened to, seem to leave a much bigger void in my life because I just happened to be so much younger. Because I had not even lived yet. I had not gotten married. I had not, even met, the person I eventually married and, so forth. So my mom was going to miss a lot. And, I remember how my family had treated me after she passed away. What most people don't know is my family didn't tell me. I didn't know my mama died till 2 days after she had been gone. So for 2 days, I was left in the dark, thinking she was still breathing, but she wasn't. And that was that much more devastating on me. And that was a betrayal, that a lot of people told me back then that they would understand if I could never forgive my family for that. But I couldn't be that way. I had to forgive them. Was it going to take time? Of course. Um, but I had to let it go. And, and I knew even back then, it's like, and I remember even saying it to myself, it's like, there's so much I could say to y'all right now for, leaving me out in the dark, for treating me the way you did. And I said, oh, and if my mama had been alive, it would have been y'all's funeral, to treat her baby that way. She would not have stood for any of this, right? But I just remember thinking to myself, it's like, just wait until that day comes, because I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. So I'm already thinking, not in a, um, I don't want to say like a vindictive way, but I always knew deep down that one day my family's going to answer for this. They're going to have to answer to my mama, and then they're going to have to answer to God too for what they did. And whether I forgive them or not, my forgiveness for them is for me, not for them. It is to put my soul at ease. So I don't carry around that heavy burden to weigh me down. Why am I going to carry around that anger, that misery, that pain, allowing them to live rent free in my head, so to speak? When they're over there sleeping soundly, why am I going to do that myself? No, I'm giving too much of my power away. And I had to come to realize that. And so I had to come to realize, again, forgiving them was not for them, it was for me. Yes, do they get the benefit of my forgiveness? Yes. But it still comes down to now they're going to have to answer to God eventually. And I know when, my daddy passed away, I know when my grandma passed away, both my grandmothers, in fact. Oh no, that they answered. They answered to my mom and they answered to God for it. So, but that's between them. That I'm way past that. All I'm saying is, even through that heartache, that betrayal, and having to spend the holidays alone too, because that was the other thing. Christmas that year, I worked. I worked Christmas Day, but when I went home, the house was empty. There was nobody to spend Christmas with. I didn't have a Christmas dinner. I didn't have any gifts to open up. I had nobody to spend it with. But even if anyone had been there, would I have enjoyed it? Probably not. Because all I wanted to do was cry. You know, it was either cry or sleep, which I needed to sleep because I'd done, killed myself and run myself into the ground in between grieving her being gone, grieving my aunt also passing away just weeks later, and also working and trying to carry all that on my shoulders. I needed to give myself a break and allow my body and my soul to rest for a little bit. So, yeah, it wasn't easy, but I did it. And I had to do it for years following. I had to learn how to get back up again. And that meant I had to get up alone. And yes, I was alone. I was alone for several months, even almost over a year after. I had to walk alone. Yeah, my brother was there, but my baby brother was 4 years younger than me. You know, as hard as it was for me, it was that much more damaging for him because he was a freshman in high school. You know, I was an adult already. Barely a legal adult, yes, but I was, you know. And I know how much it hurt my brother to not see my mama at his football games, his baseball games, to not see him walk across that stage when he received his high school diploma. Even though my mama didn't get to see me receive that either, but that was by my choice. But I made the right decision for me, to help my family. For my brother, it was different. And that pain carried with him when he went off to college. And he still found himself lost for a little while. But he eventually found himself. And he grew a lot from it. We both did. Does it still leave a heavy, hole in our heart? Of course. It always will. Nobody's going to be able to fill up that void. But it's like I told my brother, we were so incredibly lucky and blessed to have two parents who absolutely loved us. Even though my daddy acted a fool right there at the end, because him and I were bumping heads with each other. But we made up, and that's when my forgiveness came in. And it had to be for me, but it also had to be for my brother too. And because of my mama also would not have wanted that. So, you know, I even remember saying to myself, even after my dad and my grandmothers passed away, I remember even saying to God, yeah, I was angry at them, but, I'm asking you for mercy for them, because I did forgive them. Don't hold it against them. That was a different time. I let it go. And so you too will be able to let this go. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not going to say it's going to happen next week, next month, or next year. But if you give yourself enough time, you'll find your way. Just don't beat yourself while you're down. Give yourself that love, that compassion. You need that. We all need that. But in time, you'll be able to heal. And yeah, and I do understand not all wounds heal, especially ones, that leave a mark like that. But I know my mama wouldn't want me to still carry that around either, you see, because it would have changed me. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I was still carrying it around. And that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Carrying that bitterness, carrying any kind of resentment, any kind of anger, it's not hurting anybody but you. And then, it dims your light because people tend to not want to be around someone who acts that way. Or um, maybe you're not actually angry at someone, but could be just in your expression and they don't know how to take that and come out in so many different ways. So I know you're still mad at your grandfather, but you know what, beautiful? You're not doing yourself any justice by carrying it around. Um, just be with the people you love and the ones who make you feel good and make you feel whole, and leave the rest of it where it's at. And in time, you'll get there. But don't try to fit in either. Don't fit into everyone else's timeline. The only person you got to answer for is you, and nobody else but you. Everybody else has to take accountability for their own actions or inactions. That's right. And we're all human. We all make mistakes. So, but beautiful. I'm going to leave it there with you. Because, oh crap, it's midnight. So, I hope I answered your questions, though. I hope, the readings I did for you, I hope they resonate. I hope it gives you some clarity, peace, confidence, knowing what you got to do now to move forward. Tomorrow's a new day. Never forget that. All right, beautiful. If you want to hang on a minute, let me end this live stream, and then I can let you go. All right, hold on. All right, beautiful people. I gotta run. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Listen in. This Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be having a stream. If you want to be on my reading list, you have to send me payment ahead of time and have your email in there so I know who to send the link to. Because otherwise, you won't get access to the stream Saturday if you want to get read by me. So, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate everyone. I'm sending y'all away with much love and light till next time.